Hello, everyone. It's Jazz. It's the West Ham Minds channel. Hope everyone is well. Special show. I know you like it. I get great views, great comments. So, again, watch and put your comments in the box, and I will reply as I always try to do. Um, Again, I try to always pick interesting topics if I can. And I think this one's going to interest a lot of you. Why are our beloved West Ham United not scoring enough goals, really? It's very, very surprising. We know the history of West Ham. Scoring goals hasn't normally been our problem. If you look down our history, one touch football, attacking football, it's always been a problem at the other side. But we have got this problem, which is not in the West Ham DNA. Yeah, if you look down the history books, the great teams are Ron Greenwood, John Lyall, Harry Redknapp, Alan Pardew, not so great, but still under Bilic and Pellegrini. Attacking football. Defense was always the problem, not scoring goals. So why are West Ham not scoring goals? The way I will tackle it will be through, I think I've got about one, two, three, four, five, six, about six, seven main areas that are contributing to why West Ham are not scoring goals. And I will go through them one by one of my opinion on them in terms of why those areas are contributing towards the problem. And then obviously you let me know in the comments if you agree or if you don't agree with something I might have not mentioned or missed out that is kind of contributing to this issue. So let's start off. Actually, before we start off, the stats are, yeah, we're four from bottom, played 18, scored 11, I think it is. Is it? No, what am I talking about? Scored 15. So we're four from bottom in the league. We've played 18 games. We've scored 15 goals, which is, yeah, much less than not even one goal a game average. Conceded 24. Haven't conceded too much looking at around the other clubs around us, like Bournemouth, who are one more point than us. They've led in 39 as an example. We led in 24. But yeah, scoring goals, I think we're probably around the third worst in the league. So that coincides with our position. And if you look at it, a lot of those 15 goals, top of my head, at least three of them got to be penalties. So it could have been even worse. So from open play, it's completely shambles. And that's on the back of spending 170, 175 million on quite a few midfielders, strikers, that kind of thing. But nothing's changed. So let's go to the first thing, really. And yeah, it's up there. This comes from the manager, David Moyes, who, as you know, I've been quite vocal about. I want him out the club, nothing personal. He's reached his peak. He's totally messing around with the club, not changing tactics and just being lazy. It kind of worked for him in the first year or so, and he's just stuck to the same tactics, not brought in enough players through enough windows when he should have. And now we end up in a position with too many players in one window and not being proactive, and they're not improving. They're out of form, and the old players are out of form as well. Complete recipe for disaster, which is what's happening at the moment. So this comes from the manager, David Moyes. Tactics, defensive mindset. When the majority of the time you are told to keep it tight, keep it defensive, keep your shape, wait till 70, 75, 80 minutes, then see if you can score. I mean, that stories, those rumors, they've got foundation. Antonio on very famous podcast said that's what the gaffer tells us. Keep it tight up to 80 minutes. Don't concede too many and then try to score and do what you can. That's why in some games you see after 80 minutes, we start shooting like anything that we haven't done in the whole game, right? We've kept back for the 80 minutes, kept back with 4 or 5 defenders, another 3 CDMs in front of them, wingers defending, one lump up front, not connected to the rest of the team. So it looks like defensively we're okay, good shape, good foundation, don't get thrashed a lot. That's because there's 9 people behind the ball. But as soon as we got the ball, we try to attack. We're not attacking as a team. We defend like a team, fair enough. We don't attack like a team. You've seen people like Antonio, not even a striker DNA up front. Bowen looks up, there's no one with him, and you lose 1 or 2 seconds on the pitch. you've seen how fast Arsenal move the ball up the field as an example. We're slow. We go up there, the guy has to wait for all of the old team with no pace to catch up, and that moment is lost, and the other team get the defenders back. And now what David Moyes is doing, I think, a little bit is because he's so desperate, he's probably going to lose his job in the next couple of games anyway. Now he's telling him to attack a bit more. But when you've been told not to do it for so long, and as a result of that, your motivation, your mental state of mind has gone, you can't suddenly just switch on and off as a human being. You're not a computer. You can't do it, right? So what we're finding out is, yeah, we're still struggling. We got a point at Leeds, but it was a shit show. We were crap, right? Not even creating hardly any chances. If we are creating them by mistake, hook or crook, we don't know how to finish, right? That's been missing from our game for a while now, going back at least a season or more. So it's the mindset, and it holds players back. People like Rice, who are definitely ambitious, they think, rightly so. We've beaten all the big teams in his first couple of seasons. We beat all of them. But for some reason, he's gone into his shell. He hasn't got it in him to manage a team or drive them further up the table than 6th or 7th. You know, I don't know what it is. He's very scared of playing top 6 teams when in this time, we've beaten Tottenham. We've beaten all of them apart from Arsenal, I think, right? We've given them all a game, you know, and I don't know why he does that. And you could tell them, you know, as soon as the kickoff, sometimes at home I've seen it at Spurs. Spurs are out of form. They're waiting for us to come onto them. We're waiting for them to come and we're at home. So the typical West Ham way is when you go at them, you tell your wingers to overlap, support the wingers, provide width, get the set pieces in there. None of it's happening, right? None of it. For the majority of the game, it's passing sideways, backwards. And when it's forward, it's very slow, it's lethargic, it's boring to watch. It's predictable to watch. As an opposition manager, it must be easy to defend against West Ham, right? We don't have that many different outlets in terms of creativity or scoring. So it's defensive mindset. The next manager has always said he's got to play good football. He's got to be confident. He's got to take the game to the big players. Look at Brentford. They've beaten all the top 6, I think. If you look at the stats, City, Arsenal, Tottenham, beating them all, right? Shouldn't be scared. And it's hard to get clean sheets these days. You've seen Liverpool's defense. You can get at them. City always concede every game. Most of them do. But if you're going to sit back, allow them onto you with their pace, and the faster way they zip and move the ball around than us, sooner or later they're going to score. I'll give you an example at Arsenal. We literally were having 7, 8 people behind the ball. But even when Arsenal only had 2 against our 6, 7, 8 defenders, they're still piling in shots of Fabianski. So you weren't stopping the shots because you got an aging defence. And you can get your body in the line, but sooner or later in 90 minutes, you're not going to be able to stop it. And then when they do score, then how are you quickly going to change the mindset of the players? It's a joke. So tactics, defensive mindset is, if not the number one, the biggest obstacle of why we've ended up in this position where we're not scoring any goals. And that's it. Second one, which again drives him up the wall, the importance of having quick, strong, explosive, good stamina wing backs. Because I keep saying, I don't want to use that word fullbacks anymore. It's outdated. Look at the big teams like City, Liverpool, Chelsea, even Arsenal. It's wing backs, a modern phenomena, right? Players that can play in a 4-4-2 as a fullback, if you like. But more importantly, when you switch formations, you do 3-5-2, you want a sweeper in there, you want a winger up there, or wing back who further up the field can support the wingers, provide the width. Ideally, maybe good at set pieces, corners, free kicks. Alexander Arnold, your example, or up and down engine like Matty Cash, right? We've got nothing. We've been carrying Fabianski, Creswell, Kufal, Johnson, largely mismanaged, and as a result, form on the floor, not really showing anything, probably going to leave the club at some stage. Ashby, don't know what's happened. He's fallen out with the owners, doesn't want to play. Newcastle want him. Emerson, Kehrer, absolute shit show of signings, 25 million down the drain. One of them, Kehrer, hasn't even got a position. They call him the utility player. He's crap. He can't even mark anyone. You can play him centre back, part of 4, full back, just filling a gap. I could probably do the same job as him, you know. I mean, he's been at fault for about a goal in every game, I think. Emerson, well, Played what 5-6 games for Chelsea in 3 years. Why should he be good enough for us, right? That is what the issue is. Because we've got poor centre backs, poor fullbacks, average goalkeeper, aging back 4-5. David Moyes' tactics are people like Bowen and Fornals, who are our wingers, who should help attack and support our striker, are constantly told to track back and help people like Cressy. Because Cresswell, if he gets single one-on-one, he's going to have it, right? He got done at Arsenal and Barrett. He's going to get done, right? And I think one of the Brentford goals as well. So constantly they're defending, right? So it looks like our fullbacks, okay, sometimes don't get exposed only because the wingers are doing their job for him. So often I see Cressy, when the wingers are running down the line, the Cresswell is nowhere to be seen. He's tucked in next to centre-back. He doesn't want that one-to-one threat. So Fornals is running back, trying to do his job for him, right? So this is a situation because of poor fullbacks. Fullbacks themselves are not good defenders. They're too old. They're too slow. They don't even cross anything. They don't set anything up. They don't assist Bowen or Antonio, whoever our wingers are. They don't even help. They don't overlap. And the wingers that we've got that should attack, they're busy helping these guys defending. So it's a recipe for disaster on both sides, which way we look at it, right? We've got to go into the market for wing backs. We've blown 25 million, 23 million on Kehrer and Emerson, which is a bit of a pain in the backside and a nightmare to think about. There's not many of them out there, I agree, but you got a scout, you got a director, build that scouting team. Your only job twice in the year, 2 windows, is to go and get those players and make a list of 3, 4, 5 and bang, 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 right? Go and grab these people out there, right? It's an important outlet for goals. A good wing back, it's that width. So when it gets too congested in the center, you can pass it to the left on the width and it can overlap, interact with the wingers. It's a two-way relationship. The wingers and the wing backs and the fullbacks on either side flank, it's a two-way relationship. And as a fan, you gotta go for it, right? You gotta go for it. That's kind of a big issue for me. The next one, who is our number 10 centre mid creativity player? Who's our Yossi Benayoun? Who's our Aya Berkovic? Who's the Modric? Who's the man that when you've got the ball in a tight position, you're going to give it to him. He's going to control the tempo of the game, look up, keep possession, don't lose it, dictate how fast the game or the tempo is going, set those attacks up. And then he's got a bit in him where he can, with 1 or 2 passes, he can split the defense, get our striker, good understanding with him, and put him through, put the wingers through, that kind of thing. Or when you're under pressure, you can give it to him. Someone like Ian Bishop, John Monker, Martin Allen. We ain't got no one. Benrahma, I'm sorry, he's not the answer. He's not the answer. I think we looked at him for 1 or 2 years. He pops up in the odd European game, or maybe when the opposition are not so good, or when we're, well, not so often these days, but when we're 3-0 up, he might get the 4th goal. But when we're playing a big game, certainly the top 6, top 7, Benrahma is not visible. He's not physically strong enough, or, well, talent is not there to willingly be visible, dictate the play, ask for the ball. It's not him. Paqueta, I don't know what he is at 53 million. Is he CDM? I might have seen a fraction of that in the last game, but you got to tell someone to grab that number 10 position, centre mid. Defend. You got to defend as a team, attack as a defender. Scoring goals, I believe, like conceding goals, is a problem across the. You all got to contribute, right? So the manager's got to contribute in providing positive tactics and telling him, let's go for it, right? Getting the best out of every player. You don't buy Paqueta or Scamacca or Haller or Benrahma maybe when he first come and tell him, I don't want you showboating, I don't want you dribbling because you're going to lose the ball. Straight away, you're cutting the DNA of the player, right? Harry was good for putting his arm around the players, telling him, terrific, go out there and do your bit. You buy players that fit the puzzle. You don't bring them in and tell them to stop doing what they're doing well. What is the point in that? You're buying a striker, you know he's done well, but then you're not linking him up with the rest of the team. They're not supporting him. So what do you want him to do, right? I do not want my wingers, strikers, or number 10s constantly defending. I want my back 4-5 to be good enough to defend on their own in the majority of the game. And sometimes when you're under the cosh, okay, maybe you got to come back in and help. But it's a constant thing throughout the 90 minutes. The whole team's just defending behind the halfway line, and it's very, very frustrating. So, who's that number 10? If it's Paqueta, give him the license to be that and give him the ball. He's not involved in the game enough for me, right? And Benrahma is not the answer. So go out there and get that man in, really. So that's kind of the other thing. The next one is the poor set pieces. Before we spent all the money in Paqueta, it's on the videos. I wanted Ward-Prowse in all the time. I would have, if Paqueta was 53 million, the whole deal plus the add-ons, then 55, 60, sell the project to Ward-Prowse, English boy, get him in next to Rice. That's 10, 11 goals a season minimum. Penalties, corners, free, good, nothing to worry about. Worth his weight in gold, right? That's the boy he should have got. Poor set pieces. Creswell's corners, free kicks dried up a very long time ago. Benrahma, not really the answer. He does get the odd free kick in, but not enough for me. Corners are shambles, whether it's Creswell. I mean, Bowen's all right, but I'll probably want our fullbacks to take corners or wingers. I don't want my forward-looking players too much taking corners, because then you lose that ability to get the knockdowns, deflections, the rebounds, the goals themselves, really. So I know we don't do it. So I don't want Bowen taking too many corners, or Scamacca or anyone like that. I want my forward players up there. So that's kind of our thing. Poor set pieces, buy players accordingly to skill. Your remit, the remit. If I was a manager now, the remit with the scouts, I would say, I need wing backs. I need someone good on set pieces. I need 2-3 backup strikers to Scamacca. I need a young goalkeeper, whether I like Areola or not. But then overall, the DNA, try to get one or two that have got that leadership in them, which is a constant West Ham problem at the moment. I don't think Rice should be our captain. I think we should get someone a bit older, more experienced, and that'd be better for him as well. So, yeah, we've got more leaders in our team we need. So, yeah, poor set pieces. Look out there. That should be in the DNA of one or two players that you're looking at, really. At the moment, I don't see anything. So often we take the short corner, we completely lose it. The ball doesn't even end up in the box sometimes. The corners come in, they don't even beat the first man. Penalties are kind of all right at the moment. Well, we were kind of, through a period, we were missing a few when Rice was taking them and people like that, and Bowen missed one, didn't he, at Liverpool, was it? So set pieces, you've got to address it. I don't know what's happened. But what's linked to set pieces is this thing, Souček. 10 goals from midfield have completely vanished in the last 2 seasons, right? And a lot of you, I think you're right, it's due to tactics where they want Rice to go further up than him. He's not good defensively, I tell you that now. But when he was scoring goals, he was a bit like Gus Poyet at Chelsea, if you remember, coming in late into the box, bit of Lampard in him, certainly from heading it in. We've got to get that back. 10 goals from midfield. God, that is a great thing to have. Why is it completely dried up? It's got to be different instructions from David Moyes. Again, I did see him come a bit more up front against a Leeds game, but for me, it's too little too late. David knows his job's going now, and now he's running around trying to change things when he's just been too slow in signing players, 3-4 windows where he didn't buy anyone, too slow in changing tactics, and now he's kind of stuck now, right? So Souček and set pieces. Souček, get him in the box as often as you can. He doesn't do too much defensively. He does cover the ground, I agree. And when you look at the stats, he's covered a lot of ground, around so many kilometers, whatever you want to call it. But when it comes down to goal-saving tackles, great passes, goals, assists, he's got nothing in him. So I rather use his energy. And if you haven't got any money to bring anyone in, then lump him up front, right? I know Moyes is trying to look at a plan to play Rice, Souček and Paqueta in the same team. Well, work it out, mate. That's what you get paid for. But we've got to fix this situation. So that's kind of for me. The final bit is the wingers and strikers form. All the strikers that join us come on the back of good seasons, whether that's Haller, Philip Anderson, or Scamacca now, Paqueta, Cornet, Bowen's form last season, Antonio's a little bit, Antonio 1 or 2 seasons. It's the form's completely gone. Like I said, it's important to attack as a team, which means you involve and you play to the striker, the forward's strength, right? And what that means is Antonio is worryingly, I think the best days are ahead of him, behind him. They're gone behind him. Injury, big fat contract, doesn't do anything on the pitch, just laughs around, just falling all over the floor, got nothing to offer, hasn't got many goals going back last couple of seasons. So if you are going to play him in that 4-2-3-1 and one of the three, right? That'll fix it for now. Don't want him playing up front. Scamacca, Again, get him involved more, but then how the hell are you going to get involved when your tactics largely have to be defensive? So he's not going to get too many chances. As you can see now, his form's dwindling down slowly, even though you scored at Leeds. You can know the guy's a half decent striker. He can hold it up. He's got a good shot on him, but you got to get him all out of him. Why would you buy a player like Scamacca, Paqueta, 80, 90 million to go? He's not playing to any of their strengths. Mind-boggling. Paqueta, what is he doing? He's got the ball. Half the time he ain't even visible. When he has the ball, he just passes it 5 centimeters to left or right. Not really doing a 50, 55 million man's impact on a game, you know? So get the form up to scratch, play to their strengths, and buy at least two more strikers as a backup to Scamacca, and a different scenarios, different options on the bench. Have a Danny Ings style small player, great finisher, right? When you need a goal. Play someone up front. I mean, for now, Scamacca and Tony up front, 4-4-2. That's an interesting thing to look at. And get another big guy in like him. Get that the guy at Blackburn if you want him, or someone else. At least get options on the bench. We've got nothing. You look at it, got people like Lanzini in there, got Emerson, Kufau. They're not going to get you the goals, and it's just so many issues, so many issues, really. So those are the main reasons, ladies and gentlemen, why West Ham are not scoring any goals. So if I can summarize quickly, it's David Moyes' defensive mindset tactics, no width due to poor fullbacks. We need wing backs, and they in turn can help the wingers attack together. Now it's still defending because the fullbacks are crap, so you're losing that width, that extra option up front. No creativity through the center of the pitch. We need a number 10. I don't know who can play that role. Just buy him or get Paqueta to do the role. Benrahma for me is not the answer. Sell him, recycle the cash, look for that number 10 creativity. Improve the set pieces. Buy someone like Ward-Prowse. Get wing backs in who are half good at corners. That kind of thing, or get your striker to practice a bit more goals, really. Yeah, the form, improve the form of the strikers, play to their strengths. And you know what Bowen's good at. You want Bowen up front. You want him running at forwards with options up front. You don't want Bowen running on his own and then stopping because no one's with him. Then you've lost that bite. Then you're going to lose form and that kind of thing. Get Souček back running again. Let's get his 10 goals a season back in, and again, find out what's gone on. I mean, David Moyes should have the answer to all of these questions. And as it does look like Rice has been told to go up, Rice isn't really scoring. He hasn't really got it in him. So you've got to go back to Souček. That was working. Just keep it like that and keep Rice as a good defensive player. We shouldn't really need him up front too much. You know, if we fix the issues with Cornet, Benrahma, Paqueta, Scamacca, we should have more than enough up front to trouble a lot of teams and start to score more goals. But in conclusion, like you said, I want a new manager in. I've had enough of David Moyes. Nothing's going to change. It's too little too late now. They can buy, you know, I don't think they're going to buy too much in January anyway. And rightly so, the board have probably got no confidence in David Moyes now. Just throwing money at the issue doesn't help when nothing's going right at club, really. So I hope you enjoyed the programme. Playing Brentford in a couple of hours. We will be doing a review show straight after kickoff around 7:30. So join us for that. Hopefully we'll be joined by a regular team. So yeah, hope you have a good afternoon, and put those comments in the box and subscribe. We're racing towards 1,500 subs. So a lot of you watch, don't subscribe. Please subscribe. And also I've got another sister channel called West Ham News TV. We'll be posting some videos on it later on today or tomorrow. Definitely by tomorrow, get that up and running again. I haven't been able to look at that in a couple of weeks. But yeah, support both channels. Keep subscribing. Put your comments in the box and put anything down there, any other videos you want me to cover, any other topics, and just let me know what you think. So yeah, take care. Come on, you Irons, and let's see what happens in the FA Cup third round Brentford West Ham game. Take